overtime, short week, on the road. That's a tough spot for the Chiefs. I'm going to take them, but this feels like it could go either way.
You're tuned in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, guiding your gridiron journey, none other than your host, former NFL lineman, Ross Tucker.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Picks Wednesday, which means I'm going to give you all of my picks straight up for Week 13 in the NFL, including the 3 Thanksgiving Day games, the Black Friday game, and then the rest of the Sunday and Monday slate. There is some news to get to later on in the show, a significant suspension, at least as it relates to the Carolina Panthers, and a critical signing for the Buffalo Bills. We'll get to that a little bit later. As a reminder, you can always follow us at Ross Tucker Pod. Me personally, I'm at Ross Tucker NFL. You want to see some of the food I'm eating, beers I'm drinking on the road in Lincoln, Nebraska tonight. I get ready for Iowa at Nebraska on Black Friday. You can all check that out on CBS. Love when you guys take a picture at the start of the game when I'm on camera. It's the only time my mom and wife and daughters watch anyway, so I get a kick out of that. You can also go ahead and follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. Highly encourage you to subscribe, turn the notifications on. It's big show time.
Want to know which team is going to win every single game on Sunday? Then listen up.
All right, Ross, we're going to start with our picks for all the games this week with the Packers at the Lions.
What a phenomenal game. I mean, there's a lot of good Thanksgiving Day games. I think there's really compelling matchups in all 3. Kudos to Ani Bose and Mike North and the entire NFL scheduling department. They nailed it this year because you got the 7-4 Lions, 7-3-1 Packers. I think I'm going to go with the road team. I think I'm going to go with the Packers. It just doesn't feel like the Lions are playing that great. You know, they've been on a stretch here where they haven't looked quite like the Lions. Their offensive line has struggled in pass pro, and now they're going against this Green Bay front with Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons, and even the Lions defense has struggled. I think I got to go with the road team. You know, I haven't been as good this year, Jack, with saying when it's an underdog, but it's an underdog. The Packers are the underdogs. I'm taking them. Give me Green Bay 27, Detroit 20. Packers win by a touchdown to ruin Thanksgiving in Detroit.
Next up, Kansas City Chiefs are at the Dallas Cowboys.
It's so funny because all of the posts about this game are about how it's going to hit 50 million people and going to be the most watched regular season game ever, all of that stuff. I think I've said this before, Jack, and I'll probably repeat myself tomorrow with Greg Cosell. We'll still have Greg Cosell, by the way, the NFL Films legend, the next 2 days, and we'll go over, these games with Greg. But the Cowboys Thanksgiving game is typically the most watched regular season game, and I think it's used to be even more than the conference championship games, which is really cool because if you're looking over my shoulder, that one right there, for those of you watching on youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL, that's the game ball I got in 2002, starting on Thanksgiving, which, by the way, I was 23 years old. That was half my life ago. Kind of crazy to think about, but top 5 football game in my life, top 5 football victory, I guess, in my life. Very, very cool. This is an interesting one because the Cowboys have all kinds of momentum going into this game. Having won the last couple, they feel better about themselves. It was a primetime game against the Raiders. They blew them out. Then they're playing against the Eagles in the Fox's game of the week. They come from behind to win that one. So Cowboys are feeling good about themselves, and rightfully so. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, they clearly outplayed the Colts. it's probably a little concerning that they had to still struggle to win the game, but it's a good sign that they beat them that, definitively, at least in the stats, if not on the scoreboard. Overtime, short week, on the road, that's a tough spot for the Chiefs. I'm going to take them, but this feels like it could go either way. 27-24, I think the Chiefs win 2 one-score games in a row. Wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if the Cowboys take care of business.
And the last one from Thanksgiving slate, Burrow's return. Bengals at the Ravens.
Should probably have mentioned, Jack, sometimes people come here or find us on YouTube. If you're looking for picks against the spread, the Even Money Betting Podcast is where it's at for NFL, college draft podcast for college. But we were on fire last week in the NFL. I was 16 for 16 with my NFL bets last week, which will probably never happen again. So let's all enjoy it and soak it in. And I'm going to keep talking about it as long as I can. This show, we could do straight up just who I think is going to win the football game. I think the Ravens. I think we all are curious to see how Joe Burrow looks, how Joe Burrow plays. I suspect he'll play pretty well, but there's going to be some rust there. You wonder just how well he can move with that toe. I wonder if the Ravens bring a lot of blitzes to try to make him move, or if the Ravens don't bring blitzes, because Burrow is the closest thing to like a Brady or Manning that we have in the NFL these days, with his ability to beat you with his brain and processing. So you might not want to do that if you're the Ravens. You might not want to let him use his brain and get the ball out quick. You might want to try to force him to hold the ball. The longer he can hold it, the more he might have to move around. So that's something to keep an eye on that I find interesting. Might talk about that with Greg Cosell tomorrow. I'll take the Ravens. They're the better team, although they are not playing well offensively. Maybe this Bengals defense can be exactly what the doctor ordered for Cincinnati. I will take Baltimore 27, Cincinnati 23.
Black Friday game. The Bears are at the Philadelphia Eagles.
How about that one? I mean, that very easily couldn't have been 8-3, 8-3. To have a standalone game on Friday between 2 8-3 teams at the top of their division, Amazon must be thrilled. And 2 really large media markets there. That's fantastic. So everybody can watch Iowa, Nebraska at noon. And then when that game's over, tune over to Amazon Prime and watch the Eagles and the Bears. I'll take the Eagles to win the game. I don't know quite how they'll react to that comeback by the Cowboys and losing that game. They also are even more banged up again. But it's a short week home team. I usually like the home team on these short weeks. The Bears have been kind of living dangerously, winning a lot of these one-score games. That has its way of sort of running out. That, I don't want to call it luck, that good fortune has its way of evening out over time. I'll take the Eagles to bounce back 23-17 Birds.
Move to the Sunday slate, starting off with the Rams at the Panthers.
Well, we'll talk about the Panthers a little bit later on in the show with the Tux Takes, but they'll be missing a key player. I'll just tell you, it's Trayvon Merrick, their safety, for punching Juwan Jennings in the nether regions, I think is like the best way to say that. I think groin area, it's like, come on. I don't really want to say, some of the other terms for that area. I think nether regions is the one I'm going to go with. I think that's the best. Have you ever heard that before, Jack?
I have heard that one. Unlike Quell, I have heard that word.
What the heck does that even mean, nether regions? Like, who came up with that? That area on a man is NETHER regions, I think?
Well,
I don't think I've ever seen that in print.
Well, because nether means like lower. It's like under.
Did you know that?
I did know that.
No. You only knew that because of nether region. You've never heard of nether any other time other than nether region.
As a kid, there was a thing in Minecraft called the nether. That's like 15 years ago knowledge I'm pulling out right there.
Minecraft? You're young enough that you played Minecraft?
Yeah, Minecraft came out like 2010. It was like 15. I played it in middle school, so it's not like I'm like playing this now. This was middle school, which was
Minecraft's like what my daughters do sometimes, I think.
yeah, it's still around.
Wow. All right. So I forget, I guess you're not that much older than them. You're 24, they're 13 and 12. So, okay. Anyway, Trayvon Merrick suspended. They're hosting the Rams. That's a big loss because Sean McVay is probably the best in the game at being able to take advantage of that and attack a guy that was playing very well for Carolina. I don't know what to think of Carolina coming back after that loss Monday night. I'll take the Rams. They're the best team in football to keep rolling. Their defense is pretty good. I don't know about J.C. Horn. He got hurt in that game also. How about 23-16 Rams? I'm gonna pick the Panthers to hang. Don't go anywhere. Got to pay some bills real quick. If you guys don't have the Game Time app on your phone at this point, what are we even doing? I've been telling you guys about Game Time for years because I love it, because my wife loves it, because we even have our friends that have it on their phone. The number one reason for me is just to be able to see all the events that are in your area, or if you're going to a city like Vegas or wherever, to see what events are there. Plus, then when you actually want to get tickets to something, you have the lowest price guarantee. You know that you can see the view from the seat. Plus, the fees are actually included. No surprises. Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ROSS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. So again, create an account, redeem code ROSS for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. I don't understand the science. Maybe it's because they're originally from Canada, but Labatt beer tastes even better in the winter. It is so good. And with Buy Beer, Get Gear from Labatt, just go to the website, snap a photo of your receipt, upload it instantly to rack up points for exclusive merch. You can get points for every purchase at any store, bar, stadium, any size, any product. It doesn't matter. Anywhere you're buying Labatt. Buy beer, get gear. Go to rewards.labattusa.com to sign up.
Next up, the 49ers are at the Cleveland Browns.
This is a fun one. I'm really looking forward to Shedeur Sanders 2.0, as well as the Niners on a short week on the road against that ferocious Browns defense. They are so good on defense. I mean, the Browns, the Texans, some of these teams are proving that you still can play really good defense, and they are a couple of them. Really looking forward to it. I'll take the Niners. I think, it was one thing for the Browns and Shedeur Sanders to beat the Raiders. I think going against the Niners will be stepping up in class, but Purdy's going to have to play better than he did the other night. This is a tough spot for the Niners, especially if the weather is nasty, which is entirely possible. I'll say San Francisco wins, but I think it's, by like one score late, 20-17. 20-17, San Francisco.
Next up in that battle in the AFC South, the Colts are hosting the Houston Texans.
Do you know what the San Francisco treat is, Jack?
What, like their go-to food? I don't know. I mean, if you say it, I'm sure I'll know, but I don't.
You ever heard of rice-a-roni?
Yes.
Okay, that's the San Francisco treat. There used to be commercials all the time. It's like, rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat. I butchered that. Anyway, Texans, Colts. I'm going to take the Colts. I think that the Texans' defense is incredible. The Texans are on a roll. Looks like C.J. Stroud will be back. I'm going to predict that Stroud has some rust. And I'm going to predict that the Colts kind of find a way to get out of this funk that they're in. Although this is not a great matchup. The way their offensive tackles have been pass protecting and struggling. Not a great matchup for those dudes going against those Texans edge rushers. I'm not expecting a ton of points in this one. 19-16. I'll take the home team in the Indianapolis Colts.
Next up, the Miami Dolphins. They're hosting the New Orleans Saints.
Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins off a bye. So you never really know a team like this that kind of had the momentum going. They probably got almost the whole week off because their buys late in the season. You just don't know if they still, will play the same way. If they still will have that momentum heading into this one. That's what makes it so interesting. I'm going to take them. I'm going to say that the Dolphins keep playing well, but the Saints really could have won that game against the Falcons. The Saints played a lot better. This is like a toss-up game. The Dolphins defense had been playing better as of late. I'm going to say 21-20 Dolphins. The red zone costs the Saints again, but it feels like a toss-up game to me.
Atlanta Falcons are at the New York Jets.
Couple of teams in the midst of disappointing years. Falcons 4-7, Jets 2-9. I'll take the Falcons. Kirk Cousins on the road to get the win. Back-to-back road wins for the Falcons would be nice. The Jets, I thought, acquitted themselves pretty well against the Ravens. They just are kind of lacking some dudes on both sides of the ball after the Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner trades. I mean, Tyrod Taylor's out there throwing it to Mechie and A.D. Mitchell. These guys were 4 and 5 receivers for these other teams that they were on. It says a lot about where the Jets are at right now, unfortunately. I'll take Atlanta 20-16 over the Jets.
Next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are home against the Arizona Cardinals.
So all eyes are on Baker Mayfield, obviously, and that will make a significant difference in the game. Although, if it is Teddy and he gets all the reps, I kind of expect Teddy Bridgewater to go out there and play pretty well, if that ends up being the case. I still think it's amazing that Teddy Bridgewater wanted to be a high school coach this fall, and he got suspended or whatever for impermissible benefits, giving money to some of his players that needed it and meals. And he goes, okay, then I'll just go play in the NFL. I mean, Jack, you coached high school football this year. That could have been you, dude. You should have been like, yeah, you know what? That Archbishop Wood, it's been nice. I'm just going to go play in the NFL instead. I mean, that is something else. I'll take the Bucs either way. Cardinals are in the midst of a lost season, unfortunately. Maybe Jacoby can get it done for them. I think they'll get Marvin Harrison Jr. back this week. Could be a really close competitive game, but the Bucs desperately need this one. They have been on a negative tilt here. You're playing a home. You're playing a 3-8 team. Bucs got to get this win. 23-20, Tampa Bay.
Tennessee Titans home against Jacksonville Jaguars. What do you think of that one?
This is upset alert for the Jaguars. Just remember I said that. Upset alert. The Jags went all the way out to the West Coast, and they came back. Jags have been kind of, with the exception of that Chargers game, living dangerously a little bit. Tennessee, I thought that was clearly the best game of Cam Ward's career. Going against a really good Seattle defense. Cam Ward put up 24. I mean, they had the punt return by DK, but still, Cam Ward moved the ball. He passed the eye test very much. And I think there's a real chance the Titans win this game. They have not been able to finish most of these close games, unfortunately. So I'll take the Jags, who have been able to finish a lot of them. I'll take the Jags to win the game, but I think they're on major, major upset alert. 24-23 Jaguars.
Minnesota Vikings are at the Seattle Seahawks.
The Minnesota Vikings. Yep, I'm curious to see how the Vikings offense looks with Max Brosmer. I'm pretty confident. We got to look that up if it's Brosmer or Brosmer. Pretty confident it's Brosmer. I only watched like one Golden Gophers game when he was there. I heard about him from UNH, but it was more just reading about him, not actually hearing announcers say his name. And now with Wentz having season-ending shoulder surgery, McCarthy in the concussion protocol, I think it's Brosmer's time. I'll be curious if the offense functions better boy, that would be concerning. And that would be a major red flag for J.J. McCarthy, who, the reality is, I do think they have a really good GM in Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. I do think they have a really good coach in Kevin O'Connell. But sometimes if you make the wrong quarterback decision, it costs you your jobs. I hope that's not the case with those guys if J.J. McCarthy proves that he's not the guy in Minnesota, which, by the way, seems like a distinct possibility at this point. Seattle's got a terrific football team. I do not expect Brosmer to go in there and get a win. Seattle 23, Minnesota 13.
So I'm pretty sure it's Brosmer. I found a video through Nystrom and he says Brosmer. That's the first thing I could find. So next one up, AFC West battle. Raiders at the Chargers.
Got to go Chargers for all the reasons everybody knows. We'll see if the Raiders firing Chip Kelly makes any difference whatsoever. It's an uphill challenge for Greg Olsen when you've got, the worst offensive line in the NFL. That makes it very, very tough. Very tough to get anything done. But there are things you can do to try to protect those guys. I'd expect a lot of quick passes from Geno. I'd expect bootlegs, nakeds, some play action pass. Everything they do should be designed with trying to minimize, protect, mitigate the offensive line, whatever you want to say. That's what they need to do. And so because of that, I think they'll be a little bit better offensively, but not good enough to beat a Chargers team coming off that bad loss to the Jags, coming off a bye. Go ahead, go Chargers, go. I think it's 23-17 Chargers.
Next one up, arguably the game of the day, Bills at Steelers.
Both these teams need this game like blood. Man, it feels like certain teams just have tough schedules. Doesn't it feel like the Bills and the Steelers have played against a team that's good enough to beat them every week? And this week's no different. They're playing against each other. It sounds like there's a really good chance Aaron Rodgers will be back for this one. The question is, how effective is he? Is he affected at all by that contraption on his left wrist, whatever he has to wear to protect that thing? The Bills have typically been really good about bouncing back after a loss. And I think that's the case here. I think there's going to be a lot of Bills fans actually in Pittsburgh. I think you'll be surprised how many Bills fans will be there. Keep an eye on that one. And which is interesting because in 2004, when we played the Steelers, there was a ton of Steelers fans up in Buffalo, which was a little disappointing. I think it might be the opposite in this one. I think there'll be a lot of Bills fans making the trek down there to Pittsburgh. 24-20 Buffalo.
Move to prime time Sunday night, Broncos at the Commanders.
I gotta think the Commanders play better than they have been. Honestly, it'd be hard for them to play much worse. Interesting that both these teams are coming off of a bye. Denver's just been very consistent. They have a really good offensive line. They have really good defense. They do enough with the skill guys. That's a winning formula in the NFL. Really good defense, really good offensive line. Unfortunately for the Commanders, they really don't have either of those right now. So I'll take the Broncos to get it done. I do think the Commanders put forth a better performance in this one. Ultimately, though, it's still going to be the Broncos that get this victory because the Commanders' defense has really struggled. How about 27-20 Denver?
And we go to Monday night, our last game here, the Giants at the Patriots.
It's so funny because we said every week that the Bills and the Steelers play against a team that's capable of beating them. Every week the Patriots play against a team that's not, or that feels like they're not. It's unbelievable, their schedule. I mean, they play like 2 and 3 win teams every week. Hey, that your record is what it says it is, and you don't make up your schedule in the NFL. I'll take the Patriots. I don't know if it'll make a difference with the new D coordinator for the Giants. Patriots haven't exactly been blowing people out, and they'll have a revamped left side of the offensive line, which is something to keep an eye on for sure. But ultimately, I think they'll still find a way, figure it out. Although, curious to see if it'll be Jameis or Jackson Dart. Either way, Giants will have a puncher's chance with those two guys at quarterback. We'll go New England 27, Giants 23. More great stuff right after this. How do you not love everything about game day? The passion, the noise. I don't care if you're tailgating, you're hosting people at your house, watching with your family. I don't care if you're watching by yourself. Choose Smirnoff, because no game day is complete without the world's #1 vodka. When it comes to the NFL, we do game days. Smirnoff helps bring fans together to cheer on their favorite team. Grab a bottle of Smirnoff at your local retailer and head to Smirnoff.com to find recipes of delicious cocktails perfect for game day. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff #21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please not share with anyone under legal drinking age.
Tuck's Takes.
Got some news around the league, Ross. First up, the Saints are making a kicker change. They're swapping out Blake Grupe for Katie York.
Grupe had been their kicker the last couple of years. Man, once you get one of those jobs, you gotta hold on for dear life, because now Grupe's on the circuit. Now Grupe's on the tryout circuit, getting a second chance circuit. But that's what happens when you miss some of the kicks that he's missed this year, which have really hurt the Saints.
Do you have any further thoughts on the suspension of Panther safety Trayvon Moehrig?
No, it's Moehrig. And I do not, other than I wonder if they'll suspend Jawan Jennings because he went after Moehrig after the game and hit him. But I don't think they should. I think just Moehrig should be suspended for that literally low blow.
And some transactions. The Bills, they signed wide receiver Brandon Cooks. Panthers signed linebacker Isaiah Simmons. And Broncos signed Luke Wattenberg to a 4-year, $48 million deal that includes $27 million guaranteed.
Good for him, man. I mean, the whole Broncos offensive line now is under contract for years, making between $10 and $20 million. That is so cool. And the other one, the Bills signing Brandon Cooks, is notable because Brandon can help them. Brandon can run, and Brandon might be just that one little extra addition that they needed. Other than that, we will have new Ross Tucker podcasts and Even Money Betting podcasts tomorrow. You can listen to it with your family at the Thanksgiving table. Everybody will love that. I think we're done here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also check out Even Money, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.
Shout out myfrontpagestory.com. You already know it's the best holiday gift there's ever been. Myfrontpagestory.com. Have you even gone to the website and checked it out? Have you even looked at it? Because you should. BackOfficeScheduler.com, HumanHeadNYC.com, Sporticulture, Pizza Boy Brewing.